I thank the Lord for this opportunity to share with you where 2 or 3 are gathered. And one of the things that touches my heart, Lord, is when we talk about leadership. And I think that's a problem that we are battling with in Africa.
Yeah.
And in Africa, I've tried as much as possible to reach out to those at the top, and I'm still getting there. They're giving me opportunities soon to speak to the parliament on emotional intelligence for political leaders. I've had it training for the directors in the Jubilee House, and everywhere, the ministers, the chief directors, I've spoken to them, and I believe that if you are a Christian, you are not only secluded to a church, but you must be available and affect others for Jesus. And I realized one thing, that, you see, many of us find it difficult to define the word leadership. So there's a challenge. The challenge of defining leadership. Who is a leader? Somebody said, a leader is a person who leads. Yeah, that's very true, We call it the fallacy of begging the question, So let me ask you, who is a leader in your home? Then somebody said, oh, it's madam. And then another person said, it's the maid. I said, you are right. Because the maid is the one who always, madam, we don't have this. Madam, we need this. Madam, we haven't got, madam, that has no clue.
Yeah.
So the leader. so the definition of leader can be complex, And of course, if you're from Africa, the issue or concept of leadership becomes a bit challenging. Why? Because we do not understand the whole idea about leadership. We know the traditional rulership. And traditional rulership is governed by customs and tradition. And tradition is a reflection of the past. But leadership is governed by vision. It's a reflection of the future. So the challenge we have is that we want to be leaders, and still we want to use the tradition and things of the past to push that which is of the future. So we are going nowhere. So it is important, therefore, to take our time to begin to find out leadership. So all along, I've been in leadership position here and there. In fact, it was in the university that I started asking myself, who truly is a leader? Even though I did economics, I did that. They never taught us leadership. I understood more of management than leadership. The core function of management is to control, and we are very good at that. But the core function of leadership is to effect change, which we find it difficult to do. So that has been the problem. Then when I went to the university, I did my master's, and my PhD was on transformational leadership. So then I started going into many areas. You have to read over 200 or so books on leadership, but then to be able to come out with your own definition of leadership. So I came out with my own definition of leadership, and any leadership you can think about will be a subset of my definition. In leadership, there are some key components that I want to talk about. Number one, discipline. If you're a leader and you are not disciplined, forget it. You won't get too far. Your leadership role will end. And discipline is not something you pray for. No. Discipline is a process. And it's a process that involves 4 Ds. The first D is called desire. And many of us have desires. If wishes were horses, you might want to ride. And many of us have so many desires. And nobody stops you from having desires. But the fact that you have desire doesn't mean that you're going to achieve it. There must be the second D. The second D is decision. Decision. You must decide. You must decide. You see, Serving God is not a gift. Serving God is a decision. I decide to serve God. Joshua said, choose ye this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. Serving God is not a gift. Serving God is a decision you have to make. I have decided to follow and I'm not coming back. It's a decision. You may even decide, but if you are not careful, you might not reach it. So there has to be a third one. The third one is develop a plan. That's the third D. Develop a plan. What is the plan that you have developed in your leadership? Develop a plan. Something that you have put up in order to achieve an objective. A plan. It is one thing to develop a plan. It's another thing to implement the plan you have developed. So there is the fourth one. The fourth one is be determined. Have an unflinching determination to what? Implement the plan you have developed. So that's it, the 4 Ds. The first, discipline. The second, desire. The third one, decision. The second one, decision. The third one, develop a plan. And then the fourth one, be determined. Have a determined effort to be able to achieve it. You see. So